Hey, what's up you guys? It's Dorothy and welcome back to my channel. If you guys are new here, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up, comment down below what you guys want to see in the future, click that subscribe button, and don't forget to turn on my post notifications. That way you lovely people get notified every single time I upload another chapter to whichever book we are on. Today's video we're going to go into chapter 16 part 1 of One of Us is Lying, so let's get right into this video. Also, side note, I'm sorry if there's noise in the background. I do have my fish filter on right now. It's just because I have to keep it on so my fish tank will stay clean, but yeah. Rowan, Friday, October 12th, 7:45 p.m. 4 days after we featured on the local news, the story goes national on Mike Hale Powers Investigates. I knew it was coming since Mike Hale's producers had tried to reach my family all week. We never responded, thanks to basic common sense and also Robin's legal advice. Nate didn't either, and Addie said she and Cooper both refused to talk as well. So the show will be airing in 15 minutes without commentary from any of the people who are actually involved, unless one of us is lying, which is always a possibility. The local coverage was bad enough. Maybe it was my imagination, but I'm pretty sure Dad winced every time I was referred to as the daughter of the prominent Latino business leader, Javier Rojas, and he left the room when one station reported his nationality as Sicilian or Chilean instead of Colombian. The whole thing made me wish for the 100th time since this started that I'd just taken that D in chemistry. Maeve and I sprawled on my bed watching the minutes on my alarm clock tick by until my debut as a national disgrace. Or rather, am I? And she's combing through the 4-channel links she found through Simon's admin site. Check this out, she says, angling her laptop toward me. The long discussion thread covers a school shooting that happened last spring a few counties over. A sophomore boy concealed a handgun in his jacket and opened fire in the hallway after the first bell. 7 students and a teacher died before the boy turned the gun on himself. I have to read a few of the comments more than once before I realize the thread is condemning the boy but celebrating him. It's a bunch of sickos cheering on what he did. Maeve, I burrow my head in my arms, not wanting to read anymore. What the hell is this? Some forum Simon was all over a few months back. I raised my head to stare at her. Simon posted there? How do you know? He used the Anarch ISK name from About That, Maeve replies. I scan the thread, but it's too long to pick out individual names. Are you sure it's Simon? Maybe other people use the same name. I've been spot-checking posts, and it's definitely Simon, she says. He references places in Bayview, talks about clubs he was in at school, mentions his car a few times. Simon drove a 1970s Volkswagen Bug that he was freakishly proud of. Maeve leans against the cushions, chewing on the bottom of her lip. There's a lot to go through, but I'm going to read the whole thing when I have time. I can't think of anything I'd like to do less. Why? The thread's full of weird people with axes to grind. Maeve says Simon might have made some enemies there worth looking into anyway. She takes her laptop back and adds, I got that encrypted file of Cooper's at the library the other day, but I can't get it open yet. Girls, my mother's voice is strained as she calls upstairs. It's time. That's right. My entire family is watching Mike Hale Powers Investigates together, which is a circle of hell even Dante never imagined. Maeve shuts her laptop as I heave myself to my feet. There's a slight buzzing from inside my end table, and I open the drawer to pull out my Nate phone. Enjoy the show, he texts. Not funny, I reply. Put that away, Maeve says with a mock severity. Now is not the time. We head downstairs to the living room, where Mom has already settled into an armchair with an exceptionally full glass of wine. Dad's in full evening executive mode, wearing his favorite casual fleece vest and surrounded by half a dozen communication devices. A commercial for paper towels flashes across the television screen as Maeve and I sit side by side on the couch and wait for Mike Hale Powers Investigates to start. The show focuses on true crime, and it's pretty sensationalistic, but more credible than similar shows because of Mike Hale's hard news background. He spent years as an anchor with one of the major networks and brings a certain gravitas to the proceedings. He always reads the beginning hook and his deep, authoritative voice with grainy police photos play across the screen. A young mother disappears, a double life exposed, and 1 year later a shocking arrest. Has justice finally been served? A high-profile couple dead, a dedicated daughter suspected. Could her Facebook account hold the key to the killer's identity? I know the formula, so it shouldn't be any surprise when it's applied to me, a high school student's mysterious death, 4 classmates with secrets to hide. When the police keep running into dead ends, what's next? Dread starts spreading through me. My stomach aches, my lungs compress, even my mouth has a horrible taste. For almost 2 weeks, I've been questioned and scrutinized, whispered about and judged. I've had to deflect questions about Simon's allegations with police and teachers and watch their eyes harden as they read between the lines. I've waited for another shoe to drop, for the Tumblr to release a video of me accusing Mr. Camino's of a video of me accessing Mr. Camino's file, or for the police to file charges, but nothing's felt quite so raw and real as watching my class picture appear over Mike Hale Power's shoulder on national television. There's footage of Mike Hale and his team in Bayview, but he does most of the speaking from behind his sleek chrome desk in his Los Angeles studio. He has a smooth, dark skin and hair, expressive eyes, and the most perfectly fitted wardrobe I've ever seen. I have no doubt that if he'd managed to catch me alone, I've spilled all sorts of things I shouldn't. But who are you, the Bayview 4? But who are the Bayview 4? Mike Hale asks, staring intently into the camera. You guys have a name, Maeve whispers, but not quietly enough that Mom doesn't hear. Maeve, there is nothing funny about this, she says tightly, as the camera cuts to a video of my parents' offices. Oh no, they're starting with me? Honor student Broen Rojes comes from a high-achieving family traumatized by their youngest child's lingering illness. Did the pressure to measure up compel her to cheat and take Yale out of her reach forever? Followed by a spokesperson from Yale confirming that I have not in fact applied yet. We all get our turn. Mike Hale examines Addie's beauty pageant past, speaks with baseball analysts about the prevalence of high school juicing and its potential impact on Cooper's career, and digs through the particulars of Nate's drug bust and probation sentence. It's not fair, Maeve breathes in my ear. They're not saying anything about how his dad's a drunk and his mom's dead. Where's the context? He wouldn't want that anyway, I whisper back. I cringe my way through the show until an interview with a lawyer from Until Proven. Since none of our lawyers agreed to talk, Mike Hale's team tapped Until Proven as the subject matter experts. The lawyer they speak with, Eli Kleinfeder, doesn't look even 10 years older than me. He has wild curly hair, sparse goatee, and an intense dark eyes. Here's what I'd say if I were their lawyer, he says, and I lean forward despite myself. All the attention's on these 4 kids. They're getting dragged through the mud with no evidence tying them to any crime after weeks of investigation. But there was a 5th kid in that room, wasn't there? And he seems like the type who might have had more than 4 enemies. So you tell me, who else had a motive? What story's not being told? That's where I'd be looking. Exactly, Maeve says, drawing out each syllable. And you can't assume Simon was the only person with access to About That admin panel, Eli continues. Anybody could have gotten into that before he died and either viewed or changed the posts. I look at Maeve, but this time she doesn't say anything, just stares at the screen with half a smile on her face. I can't stop thinking about Eli's words for the rest of the night, even when I'm on the phone with Nate, half watching Battle Royale, which is better than a lot of movies Nate likes, but between Mike Hale Powers Investigates and our trip to the mall on Monday, which I've been thinking about nonstop in those spare moments when I'm not thinking about going to jail, I can't concentrate. Too many other thoughts compete for brain space. Nate was about to kiss me, wasn't he? And I wanted him to, so why didn't he? Eli finally said it. Why isn't anyone looking at the other suspects? I wonder if Nate and I are officially friend zoned now. Mike Hale Powers does serial investigations, so this will only get worse. Nate and I would be horrible together anyway, probably. Did People magazine seriously just email me? What's going on in that big brain of yours, Broen? Nate finally asks. Too much, and most of it I probably shouldn't share. I want to talk to Eli Clickford, I say. Not about you, I add, when Nate doesn't reply, just in general. I'm intrigued by how he thinks. You already have a lawyer. Think she'd want you getting a second opinion? I know she wouldn't. Robin is all about containment and defense. Don't give anybody anything they can use against you. I don't want him to represent me or anything. I just want a conversation. Maybe I'll try to call him next week. You never shut off, do you? Doesn't sound like a compliment. No, I admit. Wondering if I've killed whatever weird attraction Nate might have once felt toward me. Nate's silent as we watch Shogo fake Shariah's and no Crew's death. This isn't bad, he finally says, but you still owe me finishing Ringo in person. Tiny electrical sparks zip through my bloodstream. Attraction not dead then, maybe on life support. I know. That's logistically challenging though, especially now that we're notorious. There aren't any news vans here now. I thought about this maybe a few dozen times since he first asked me, and while I don't understand much about what's going on between Nate and me, I do know this: whatever happens next won't involve me driving to his house in the middle of the night. I start to tell him all my excellent practical reasons, like how the Volvo's noisy engine will wake my parents, when he says, I could come get you. I blow out a sigh and stare at my ceiling. I'm no good at navigating these situations, probably because they're only ever happened in my head. I feel weird going to your house at 1 in the morning, Nate. Like it's different from watching a movie, and I don't know you well enough to, not watch a movie with you. Oh God, this is why people shouldn't wait until their senior year of high school to date. My whole face burns, and as I wait for him to answer, I'm deeply thankful he can't see me. Berwin, Nate's voice isn't as mocking as I'd expect. I'm not trying to not watch a movie with you. I mean, sure, if you were into that, I wouldn't say no, believe me. But the main reason I invited you over after midnight is that my house sucks during the day. For one thing, you can see it, which I don't recommend. For another, my dad's around. I'd rather you not, trip over him. My heart keeps missing beats. I don't care about that. I do. Okay. I don't fully understand Nate's rules for managing his world, but for once I'm going to mind my own business and not give my opinion about what does and doesn't matter. We'll figure something else out. That is the end of part 1 of chapter 16. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!